Ahoy tankers, and welcome to another Armor Warfare review and gameplay video. Today's video we're gonna talk about the tier 10 American tank destroyer, the M48 Gau Avenger. Now this vehicle never saw production at all. It was supposed to be developed in 1977 as a self-propelled anti-aircraft gun, but it remained just a concept, just on paper. And luckily we have it in our Armored Warfare game. This vehicle is actually armed with a Gatling gun, as you can see, which is a different gameplay for me, different fire modes from the other tanks I've played until now. What it basically means it's you can fire continuously like an autocannon without reload time, but the more you fire, the more your gun is going to heat up, and then you must wait like a period for the gun to cool down. And that is with the default standard, whatever you want to call it, the default fire mode. You can change between fire modes. The second one is actually going to fire a little bit longer, but the cost of damage, it will do less damage, but the gun will eventually heat up a little bit slower than it actually does in the standard firing mode. So this tank can be obtained through the Oscar Fire Days text tree after you get the tank testbed. It's also important because it has the Douglas commander, which is one of the most played commanders I've seen in Armored Warfare recently, since it got into the game. And in terms of upgrades, you get the gyroscopic gunner optics, which it doesn't affect the overall accuracy while moving your turret, but these two are very important. The improved weapon cooling system, the cooling rate is increased by 20%, as you can see, and the overheat is reduced by 5%. That means you can fire for a bit longer, and the cooldown period is gonna be smaller. And of course the improved gun mount, when the max spread while firing is improved by 50%. That means that you will not your aiming circle will not get that big when while firing. Also, the weight reduction measures, which will lower your HP but will increase your acceleration and the maximum speed, which you need a lot, and I think it's a fair deal, I think, in my opinion, because this tank is very slow and you will need all the upgrades for the acceleration and the max speed. So yeah, trading 200 hit points for some decent amount of acceleration boost, it's always welcome on this tank. And I've got a Continental engine, which also boosts a lot my mobility. So yeah, for the crew skills, I chose the accuracy decay rate while firing also on the gunner to get rid of the huge aiming circle while I hold my firing button, and the max spread, of course, because this is not like a BMP, for example, where you can just hold the firing button and the circle is gonna stay the same, the aiming circle. It's gonna get bigger and bigger. So yeah, any boost to keep it up, to keep the aiming circle under control, is always welcome. And for the driver, everything that boosts acceleration and mobility, the whole traverse and the acceleration on off-road terrain. As a commander, I play with Sabrina for the module damage. I think it makes a bit of a difference. You can track the enemy faster, in my opinion, but also I would suggest Ophelia commander she's a good commander for this tank, but I don't have her. She's a very good commander because when you play the Gau, actually the tactic is you need to be an aggressive flanker to get to play this tank at the maximum capacity. For that you will need mobility and some HP insurance, like the Ophelia commander gives you. And yeah, always be at the right moment whenever you can, and that's gonna be hard without some mobility boosts and accelerations. In terms of retrofits, the accuracy one, to boost the accuracy even more, the vision range while on the move, and well, always welcome for another decent amount of vision range boost, and the hull traverse for the mobility and some acceleration and engine hit points boosts, always welcome. And I also use the synthetic oil to boost my acceleration, hull traverse even more, my max speed, at the cost of some, I think it's like 12k, yeah, 12k credits on a battle. So it's good, it's I think it's worth it. The aiming time is good, it's 1.57. The accuracy could be smaller, I guess, but thing is, as soon as you get in like 100 and 150 meters away from the enemy, of the rear or the flank, the enemy doesn't even have time to turn its turret towards you. You just delete I think you delete 3k HP from the enemy in just like 1 second, maximum 2 seconds. So the enemy doesn't have much time to react. So yeah, the accuracy could be better, but at this 150 distances, I think it's decent the way it is. Could be more for if you want to get into some long range distances to fire, but this tank is not really suited for those kinds of camping situations. I told you it's more like an aggressive flanker. That's what it is. It's not a spotter, it's just an aggressive flanker, in my opinion. Yeah, it has 25 damage per bullet, but those bullets fire like, I don't know, like crazy. So yeah, in terms of mobility, that's the thing. That's my main concern with this tank, is that being so, it needs to be so aggressive in order to flank the enemy, and the maximum speed you get is like 57. I mean, it's 57 with all the boosts I have, and it used to be like 45, 50. So that's not a proper speed for the type of aggressiveness that this tank needs. And yeah, that's pretty much it. 22.5k hit points, and yeah, the turret traverse is really fast, and I like that. I don't know if it's written here, but yeah, no, it's no turret traverse. The turret traverse is actually quite good. It's well suited for those fast flanking situations. So yeah, so let's get into the gameplay now. The map is gonna be Meltdown. This map has 3 phases until the end, and which is kind of good, because these phases are like with different gameplay situations, and this will eventually make me show you where this tank weaknesses and strengths are. Definitely not a tank for sniping, at least sniping. It's not the word for this tank because of its Gatling gun, but it's definitely not a tank where you can sit 600 meters away from the enemy. Now I switched here. I switched it into the second firing mode. Show you this Bradley is quickly getting melted, and I have my weapon isn't heated yet, so I have time to finish off to actually hit 3 Bradleys in a row and without my gun to heat up. This is actually the second mode. If I was in the first mode of firing, my gun would have been heated up faster, and I wouldn't have the chance to hit the second one. So, but Bradley would have been dead in like 1 second. I chose this solo way. I'm still in the second firing mode. See this Bradley, and I want to finish, but Charlie AI is going up in front, and I can't finish off the Bradley. Now the Charlie is facing me, and I can't even dare to engage him on the front. I wouldn't have any chance to pen him, but I take every chance I get to pen his side turret. But I saw he shoot it now, and I finish off the Bradley. I wait for my teammates to come and attack his rear, so maybe I get another chance to take him down while he focuses on my teammates. Here we go, and that's exactly what she's doing. And I hit the turret, I hammer rack him, and as you can see, second firing mode, and I dealt like 2.5k damage with fire to the Charlie. Maybe if I had a good idea to switch for the first firing mode, I would have done much more damage to the Charlie. Now the first phase is almost over, and there is the Terminator you saw earlier. He can't, he's stuck over there, and I want to help my teammates finishing faster, but there's no room for me here, so I back up. I retreat from here because the Kill-2 is gonna finish him because of his auto-loader gun. So yeah. Now first phase was actually like close quarter combat. Now second phase is like medium engagement and medium quarter combat, and I take my position here. It's probably the best I can get, so I can stay safe from the AI spawns, which will be from the left and the right, and maybe from the north where the Leclerc is there. Here is the first Terminator. He's facing me face to face, and I can't shoot him because I will do little damage to him. I may get spotted. I don't want to get spotted, especially if the AI is chaotically spawning. I don't want to get some missiles into the front, but here we go. Bradleys. That's the first firing mode, so the Bradley is finished off in like 1 second. Here I get a little bit lucky. These MBTs are showing me the rear, and I get a chance to exterminate them. As you can see, their hit points are actually deleted in a matter of 1 or 2 seconds. That was just 1 second or 1.5k. This tank is actually incredible. It has an outstanding DPM once you get into the right position, like rear or flank, but rear will do the best. The thing is, there are not so many engagements which will last as long as you can, as long long enough to get you the chance to get to the rear, because the Gau is actually kind of slow. I mean, for its mobility, it's max speed, but with some tactical thinking in some, I mean, for PvP, not for PvE here, where where the AI is gonna spawn and it's much easier. In PvP, with some tactical thinking, you can sneak up into the rear of the enemies and finish them off in like 2 or 3 seconds. They are just gonna get deleted from the map and from the game. And then you can pop some smoke and get invisible again. But again, the slow speed and slow acceleration, it's not gonna give you that many chances to do that. Especially that our vehicles in the game that can reach 140 kilometers an hour. The Gau is actually gonna get maximum 60, maximum at his best, at his very best. Here the third phase is just started, and I went in this position just to show you that this tank is not really that good in this long distance fightings. You don't get that much accuracy, and my bet is that you know the rule in this game: the further you are from the enemy, the less your ammo will be effective. It will not bend. Here is the T-15 Armada on his side, but he spotted me and I don't want to risk some 2 missiles, especially because there was the AMX there. I don't want to get 1k damage of his salvos there. There is the AMX. As you can see, I just dealt half damage to him, and because of the distance, if he was like 200 meters away from me, he would have been deleted in just that second. Here is the Charlie. I try to put this. You see how ineffective this gun can be from long distances. That was the back of the Charlie turret, and I just dealt 500 damage to it from this distance. Again, if I was like where the Bradley is, or maybe even closer, it would have been dead in like 1 second. But thank God there are Bradleys in PvE, and we can delete them as fast as we can. So yeah, that was a game full of Bradleys, and gave me the opportunity to do good damage and many kills. It was like 16 kills, 16 frags, or whatever you want to call them. There's 36k damage, blue star, destroyer medal, teamwork, and charger medals, and 1.1k experience. So yeah, this was not actually my best game in the Gau. I had like one. I'm really sorry that I didn't save the replay. I had one on Cerberus map, I think, and I did like 55k damage because one of my teammates was AFK, and I had many flanking situations, so that gave me a lot of damage. But yeah, this is not actually one of my favorite tanks to play. I mean, it's not really my gameplay style, and but yeah, in PvP actually, if you manage to get to sneak out through the enemy lines and get into some flank and rear of the enemy, it's a real killing machine. It's a real killing machine. but those situations are very rare, especially at tier 10s where you cannot get unspotted through the enemy ranks because of the huge spotting ranges of the enemies. But yeah, overall I would say that this tank is a killing machine for in the right spots. Like, you just need 3 seconds to wipe down and delete the challenger or something, or everything else. A challenger, I gave a 4k HP challenger just 2 seconds. 2 seconds is enough for this tank to do its job. And other than that, it's a real sluggish tank. There are better tank destroyers, tier 10 tank destroyers in this game. But yeah, especially that when you think of a tank destroyer in this game, a tank destroyer must always camp. So yeah, I guess it's a different type of tank destroyer, which different in this game is always welcome. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.